What's going on, folks? How's everybody doing today? Wednesday. No sunshine where I'm at. It's raining, matter of fact. Had freezing rain last night. It was a little slippery this morning when I come out to do the chores. She was icy. No work today. Concrete guy. No work outside. We haven't really worked all week. Some of the guys have, but all right. Well, the reason I'm talking to my camera right now, my phone. I'm bored, but I've been running an EverLast iMig 230i. Now I'm not affiliated any way, shape, or form with EverLast. They are not paying me. They have not sent me anything for free. Nothing like that. I don't even have 30 subscribers, so there's no way they would ever. Anyway, so I'm no affiliation, but the welder's been great. I bought this in 2019. The first one I bought was right down there, a Hobart Stickmate LX, an AC/DC welder. I used to watch I still do because he's back on YouTube now, but I used to watch this cat, Chucky 2009, and he's basically a huge inspiration why I started welding, no joke. And that's the welder he started out with, not that one, but that model. So I went to the local box store, tractor supply store, and bought that just about that would have been 2016 I think. So anyways, but that's not what the video's about. That's a nice stick welder though, AC/DC machine. I don't weld on AC very often unless my the steel is magnetized or the rod calls for it. Procedure calls for it. Procedure. Anyways, so got this over. There it is. It's running, as a matter of fact, right now because I was just welding up handles on a smoke box here. It's part of another video I'm making. Going to attach them to one of the wood stoves. I'm not sure which yet. This one don't have legs, but this one's got legs. Anyway, so here's the welder, kind of tucked in here. I built. Let me walk on around. Another welder. I picked that up off from the Wastebook Marketplace 2 years ago. Super nice, really, for an older machine, big transformer machine. I was not zoomed all the way out. But you know what? I just got a 50 amp, 220, 240, whatever you want to call it, here in the garage. I put it in myself, and it's literally only 50 amps. And I guess this bugger here, when you start cranking on it, it starts pulling upwards of 70 amps from the wall. So excuse me, no wonder when I flip it on, the lights dim. So here we are. I built the roller that it's on. I didn't want to buy. I don't have anything against buying a welding cart, but if you're a welder, build the damn thing, right? Some of us don't have time. I get it. I really do. Some of us don't have time. Or you don't have access to scrap steel, which, again, my buddy Joe, working at a shop over in a town over from here. I worked there briefly myself. Used to be, before everything got crazy, you could get whatever was in the dumpster. The owner says if it's in the dumpster and you want it, you can use it, you can have it, so long as you're not going to take it and go scrap it, right? Because that's what it's in the dumpster for. They're going to scrap it. So it's like a perk of the job. So I've gotten a lot of this kind of steel from that. Obviously, I shouldn't say obviously. This I did not. I've bought most all my tube steel I buy. I bought in a lot of the steel. So here it is anyways. I ramble a lot. I'm going to just kind of set this down for a moment here, can I? Keep my fingers out of the shot and just to drop it. Ooh, it's a little dusty in there. I haven't had it open I haven't had it open in a little bit. Yeah, because look, wire's down. I haven't had it open since I changed the wire out. But it's got a great, pretty durable rolling mechanism. Everything is, you know, cast. It's durable. It's just durable. When I bought this welder, it was $1,200. Look at that. That is something I will say about this I don't like. Because they never sent me any kind of a, and I guess I never tried to maybe put like a piece of PVC spacer or something on there. Now that I'm looking at that, perhaps I will before I even run it anymore. Because look, well, yeah, you can see it. I have a screen protector on this phone and it's rough. It's rough. I should take it off because it's hard to see. But hard for me to see. So it's rubbing just a little bit here. But it takes the big spools. And when I bought this, it was $1,200 and 5-year warranty. I'm sure it's still a 5-year warranty. 50% duty cycle at max amps. And you know, I really like. I'm not huge on Lincoln at all. Their welders are great. They really are. But I just don't like the way they look. I don't like their buzz box, that tombstone they call them. It makes me sick. I'm joking, like it doesn't make me sick. I just puke. I puke in my mouth a little bit when I see them. I'm joking again, but I don't like the way they look. I like Miller's. Miller's run great as well. Lincoln's run great. I've ran them both, but I like Miller. So I wanted a 200 minimum amp welder. I wanted 200 plus, and I got to looking around back when I bought this. You know, I didn't just jump right on and buy this right away either. I mean, I spent almost 2 months legitimately reading a lot of reviews, wasting a lot of time of my life. I don't know if it's a waste, but spent a lot of time of my life looking at different welders, reading a lot of reviews, really doing my homework because they're expensive. Damn things are expensive. And when I bought this, I was working. I left concrete just briefly for about 1.5 years and went to that shop I was just talking about. I got a buddy at where the owner let you have a scrap, you know, and they didn't pay for shit. I mean, they paid terrible. I was hired in at $13 an hour, and after 6 months, I asked for $2. They gave me $1.50, so literally $14.50 an hour. And mind you, I was just about 40 years old and been pouring concrete for years. Probably sound like a goofball, but anyways, so I don't have a lot of money. Miller, they think their welders, they're so proud of them that, you know, I mean, they want a lot of money for them. Lincoln, same thing. They're like, oh man, our welders, golden beads. We require your firstborn, 3 years wage. I'm like, you know, geez, can I just give you 2 kids? I'm teasing. Miller, you know, same thing. Golden beads. ESOB, golden beads. I'm like, what in the flippity flop? I didn't want some Harbor Freight. I just didn't want it. Didn't want it. Wasn't even a Harbor Freight around here at that time. I don't even think the one in Traverse City was built yet. Chuck 2009. Welder. Used to watch him on the YouTubes. I watch him again because he's back on the YouTubes. He was huge, instrumental, inspiration in me learning to weld. Long story longer, we had a huge weld shop. I just live up by the high school. We had a huge weld shop up here at the high school. I don't know what they do in there now. They probably, anyway, I'll keep my 2 cents out of it. They shut that shop down sometime before I got in there, before my class got in there. You know, and there's a half dozen weld booths in there. Nice welders, oxy-fuel torches, you know, hoses, tanks, this, that, and the other. I mean, it was pretty snazzy. I don't know why they shut it down. Maybe somebody died. Probably money. And so I didn't get a chance to weld when I was in high school, unfortunately. So I learned to weld in my mid-30s, which is better late than never, right? And if everything I've done in life, welding is just where it's at. Not just the welding, but running the grinder, you know. None of it feels like work to me. It just doesn't. I enjoy the challenge, being out of position, uncomfortable, holding my breath, welding with my left hand. I'm right-handed, by the way. I watched another cat online, and he says, I haven't heard him say it in a while, but he says, I'm not the best, but I always do my best. I'm not the best, but I give it my best. And that's kind of where I'm at. So there you go, EverLast. iMig 230i. They're great. Bunch of tack welds. That's all I've got on here. That's basically all I do for the face is some heavier tacks. But that's all MIG. Everything else on here is stick. I really enjoy shielded metal arc welding. That's my favorite process, period. I have an AHP over here, but I've never been formally taught how to TIG weld, and I struggle. There's a technique to it, and I struggle. Also, my voice is cracking. Also, it's a catch-all. It's not set up in here necessarily. I'm hoping to change that. This is a very small garage too, mind you. Very small. I've got a lot going on in here. Going back to if you weld, okay, so I needed something. I live in northern Michigan. I needed something to warm myself. And when I first got into welding, I was like, okay, well, what am I going to do? Am I going to buy a wood stove? I got to looking at wood stoves. They're thin. They're cheaply made. If you go to an average box store, you can go and get some wood stoves out there, that are really well built, that are very nice, but they're over $1,000. They're well over $1,000. And I thought, if you're gonna weld, build a wood stove. And I know they're kind of tucked back in here. You can't see them necessarily. You can see the one on top. That's what I come up with. Going back to Chuck 2009, he built something similar to this out of giant 20-inch wheels, and then put a camp stove, like a barrel stove kit, face door on the front of it, which didn't end up working out for him. He has to run it with his door open. They just don't give you enough air at the bottom. But anyway, so something similar to that, and then, in my opinion, if you're going to, wood stove's great, that's great. But if you can't cook on it, purify water, it's useless. So, hence the top. Yeah, pretty neat. And I don't have any, I'm trying to think right offhand in here. I don't have anything in here that I've welded recently. I mean this, but again, this isn't, yeah, it's welding, but it's like, and I moved down, 3/8 of an inch. So it's not really running a bead, to show you. It welds great anyways. They weld great. But, so, yeah. Maybe not the best review. I'm not very good at making videos, but there you go. EverLast iMig 230i, 5-year warranty. It's still under warranty then. If I bought it, I bought it in 2019. It's still under warranty. Pretty good customer service. I have had issues with their web page. What I mean by that is, and I've always had to call when this happens, and I've never had a problem when I call. They always cleared up right away. I go to order, and I want to order some nozzles and whatnot, and just not too long ago, and it's like, oh, shipping $45, and I was like, what? This has happened a couple of times, and they're like, okay, you call them, and they're sorry, sorry for sure, and they just handle it over the phone and get it shipped out to you right away, and there you go, no problems at all. I really enjoy welding, no doubt about it. I know that I'm not alone. Speaking of Millers, it's under a cover, but it's a Bobcat 225 G+. That thing was built in 1994, and it is in immaculate condition. I bought it from a retired tool and die guy from lives on Drummond Island now, but him and his wife were tool and die in Lansing, Michigan. And Uh, I bought it 2019, pretty sure. It was the same year I bought. It was the same year I bought the EverLast. I had actually gotten a job to work on a wood boiler outside of town, and I didn't have that. I did not have that at all. But I had the EverLast. I have a fair amount of tools, but I didn't have no kind of generator. And I had a deal worked out with a homeowner that I would just plug into their dryer outlet, 220 outlet. I'd run 100. I had about 100 feet of cord, and I just, by the way, I ran that right there, 220, 100 foot of cord. I wasn't, welding super long beads, but I was welding with it. The EverLast did just fine. I didn't have a lick of trouble with nothing, and I was a little worried about it. Just inverter technology. I was a little worried. I want to burn it up. Anyway, so that's what prompted me, though, when I was out there doing that, and I had to plug into their wall. I got multiple cords ran. I got to run grinder, all that kind of stuff. So I got multiple cords ran, and I'm plugged into their house, and I didn't like that. Now, with that being said, I got a full-time job. I don't weld for a living. It's just something I do on the side. I really, really like it. I don't get a lot of jobs, though, because I don't advertise. I wasn't advertising then. Just kind of fell into my lap. But that's what prompted me to buy that right there. I think there's less than 400 hours on it. Oh, wow. That's so goofy sometimes. There's 162 hours on it. And I haven't ran the craps out of it. I mean, I ran it pretty recently with we get wind. Everybody all around the States here knows this anymore. We get wind like there's, like hell won't have it. We didn't have power here. All of East Jordan completely. It was very eerie to see the whole place just black. But anyways, no power. Rolled this bad boy out. Double end your long cord. It's not a how-to, just how I did it. I got a long cord because I wanted this thing outside, pretty much in the backyard. I've got a 100-footer back there, pretty cheap cord. Great cord though, but pretty cheap cord. And you cut the one end off. You want two male ends so you can plug into your generator, run her up in, and plug into your house, your outlet, wherever in the house you want power. But that's why I say this is not a how-to. I am not responsible for anybody, being a dingbat. You got to go down to your breaker box and turn the power off, at the box, the main switch. So when the power comes back on, because it's liable to at some point, you're not running your generator while, the power kicks back on, because you're going to backfeed. Usually when the power goes out too, there's linemen out there working, trying to get that power back up. And if you backfeed that line, you're going to send voltage down the line that, you don't want to do that. That's how linemen get hurt. That's how people get hurt. So anyways, I double-ended that plug, and that generator worked great for that. That worked great for that. I got lucky. The first plug I plugged into was basically almost the whole house. It's weird how the house is wired. Front porch, living room, kitchen, the garage. I didn't know the garage though at the time. I was out here actually working on another cord that night under a lantern. Garage, the furnace. It ran the refrigerator and the smaller freezer in the kitchen, and it had the middle bedroom had power as well, and the big chest freezer was in there. So literally, the first plug I plugged into, boom. Praise Abba Father for that. I don't believe in coincidence. So, all right. Kind of got off track what I was talking about, but right there, I make 230i. It's good welder. Oh shoot, why not? Okay, I kind of forgot. I'm notorious for this. I get a little blah 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 blah, rambling. I like to talk. Who doesn't like to talk? So it's not out though. Back to it, this place being extremely small. The garage here being very small. See, you can't even tell what's in there. Here, I'll turn this thing around and show you. Not the bellows. Boom! Another green machine. It's their power plasma. 52i. It's great. It's absolutely great. It's great. When you torch cut 1/8 inch, it warps like no other. 11 gauge, 10 gauge, you can't even torch cut that thin stuff. It's so difficult. You've got to really know how to be able to mess with. I don't like to torch cut thin shite. I mean, this is pretty thin, and I got away with it. I didn't warp it all up. I mean, that's oxy fuel cut. If you're fast and you got a good clean tip, you can do it. But let's say you're cutting plate, it warps the crap out of it. It'll warp an 1/8 inch plate, roll it up like a flopping banana. So that's where plasma cutting, super cool. I mean, you can just whip over 1/8 inch, pretty quickly, and it's almost cool to the touch afterwards. Hardly any cleanup, no big warpage. So it's in there. EverLast, just in case anybody thinks I'm lying. I don't know. There's a lot of weird people on the interwebs anymore. More steel. I got lots of steel, lots of dust too. Oh, that's the back of the machine. This sure has been a great machine, though. These are great welders, great plasma cutters. EverLast, nice. And due to me not having any room out here for a chop saw or anything, but I still managed to get things done. I mean, we put together a wood stove out here. If you have a desire to get something done, you can get it done. That smoke box right there is basically going to set right on top of this wood stove. So, all right, enough of that. almost 23 long minute. 23 minute long. My words are all goofy. Okay, awesome sauce. I hope everybody's having a great day. Happy Wednesday to you. If the sun's out, wherever you're at, get your butt outside. Do something out there. It's almost time to plant things, and well, I guess that's a little ways away. You southern folks, though. Cool. Awesome sauce.